Welcome back, everybody. Today, we're going to be starting a new series on the channel where we are taking a fitness planner fictional websites or brand and we're going to be creating a landing page for that brand. Uh, so it's very simple. Today, we're starting with the navbar. Next video will be the hero section, and we're going to be creating a full responsive landing page. So let's start the navbar. We're going to be starting from a desktop design. Always we start from a desktop design because we want to design for the largest content viewports. Then we want to simplify it for the smaller ones. So I'm just going to call this landing uh, desktop, or you can say landing 1440p for 1440 pixels. Uh, then we're going to be starting before even thinking about the number. I'm going to be starting from the background section. The background. Okay, so we want to use uh, orange for our for our primary color in this website. Why orange? So most of the time when we are talking about the meaning colors have, each color have its own meaning. Like that red signifies danger, green signifies nature, blue peace and spirituality. Each color has its own meaning. Orange is most of the time associated with being active, working hard, being like fitness related stuff. Okay, so being ready to work out, stuff like that. So we want to use orange as this is a fitness planner website, and we want to get people energetic, which is one of the things orange conveys. So obviously we don't want to go full orange saturated color, that would hurt the eye of the user and it would lead to an overall horrible UX experience. So what we want to do is we want to lighten it up. We want to lighten it very much. This is a very light orange, which we're going to be using for our background. Now we can go to our uh, variables right here and add a variable. We're going to call it orange 900. It seems like there is already an orange 900, so let's fix that. Let's just right click, delete variable. Okay, so we want to go here again. Let's try that one more time. Add variable orange 900. Obviously 900 signifies that this is the lightest orange we're going to be using. So 900 is 900, 100. These numbers are on the lightness scale. So the lightest orange will be 900 and the darkest will be 100. Following that, I want to add some texture to the background. So to do that, it's very simple. I'm going to right click, I'm going to go to plugins, then I'm going to run simple noise. This is a popular plugin in Figma which will help us add noise textures to our background. You can use whatever noise generator you want, but I prefer this. So if you don't have it, you can go to manage plugins, search for simple noise and open it in this file. So I'm just going to click on it and I'm just going to click add noise. Now you can see this noise texture, uh, but I don't want to use it like this. I want to add density first of all. So let's put it at higher density, and I'm just going to increase the size just a bit. Okay, less. Okay. Uh, okay, yeah, this is now perfect. Now then I'm gonna decrease its opacity so that it's barely visible. Instead, we can just give it full opacity actually, and go here to the image and decrease its opacity here. I'm gonna make it very light. Let's just increase it to about 4%. Okay, so I think works fine. Okay. So 2% opacity, it's very subtle, but there is some texture to our design that will make it much more interesting. So, like by adding, let's call it BD texture, just by adding stuff that is barely visible, over time it will accumulate and make your design much more interesting and just remove that feeling of your design being boring or bland. Uh, so next we're gonna be going to create the navbar. So what do we need in the navbar? So let's just create a list of what we need in our navbar. Obviously, we need an identity. An identity means the name of the brand and its logo. We then need nav links for navigation throughout the website. And finally, we need a call to action or CTA. So let's start. We need a logo. What you can do here is you can go to the assets page on this Figma file, which I'm going to be leaving down below in the description. So you can just click it, go and grab the logo from there. I just created this simple logo. And I'm just going to copy this logo to our landing page. Okay, nice. Okay, so now we barely have the identity actually. So we don't need only the logo, but we also need the name. I'm gonna call this workout. That's like it's a generic name, but I don't want to really focus on the brand identity. I want to focus more on the actual web design part. Okay, so here I think height 20 works perfectly. What we're gonna do is we're gonna select BBUS, and we're gonna bump it up to 18 pixels. So BBUS New is a recently popular font. It's for more bold sort of websites, and I'm just gonna go for that style in this website right here. So I'm just gonna select BBUS. Also, BBUS is a smaller font. So like 18 pixel enter would be like 20 pixel BBUS. So I always make my identity name 16 pixels, but since BBUS is quite small, I'm just gonna bump it up to 18 pixels. So now we can select everything here. We can give them some spacing around 8 pixels and central alignment. And we're gonna call this frame identity. Okay, uh, that's one done. That's one done. You can just, if you want, you can cross that off. Okay. Then we need nav links. It's very simple. It's the navbar. The nav links would be, so there are two things we have to follow. The first thing being that we need maximum, uh, so we need to make a difference between the actual current active page, which is the home page, and the other links. So I'm just gonna add our link here first of all. Uh, 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna add 5 links: a home, about, products, products, services, and finally contacts. So these are all the pages we're gonna have. Obviously, we're gonna be focusing on the landing page and not gonna create any of these pages, uh, but it's good to have them. So I'm gonna increase their size to 14 pixels. I'm just gonna go with regular, and finally I'm just gonna select everything here except the active homepage. Okay, since the homepage is active, so then we're gonna be decreasing the saturation or the contrast. Now we have to make sure there is enough contrast, but also we don't want it to stand out as much as the home page. So this has a clear visual separation from these. We can select all of them Notice that I'm using Enter. I'm using Bebas here as an accent font. An accent font is a font where you want some attention to be to make your design more interesting. You don't want long text and regular body text to be dominated by an accent font. So I'm just going to use for normal text Enter, and for where places I would like more interest or more attention, I'm going to use Bebas. So I'm just going to Shift A to group them in an auto layout. I'm going to call this nav links, or we can just say links since it will be in a nav container. Around 40 pixel gap. Sorry about that. Then we're going to have them stacked horizontally. We're going to click this hug content to make the widths actually fit the container. Then this will be our simple nav link. I would like to decrease it to 36, I think works better, and central align it. Okay, great. So we have our identity, we have our nav links, so we can just go over to typography actually here and cross that off too. So this is a good method you can use where if you don't know what to add, you can just list out stuff you actually would want in your design. So let's continue with CTA or call to action. So I'm just going to have a single call to action, which will be book a call. So this isn't actually a SaaS, this isn't a software, so we can't say sign up or sign in because there isn't actually any software behind it. It's actually a mentorship and consultation service. So book a call, I think, would be um, the most appropriate call to action text. So I'm going to go 16 and semi-bold. I'm just going to use semi-bold to give more attention here. I'm just going to Shift A to put it in a frame. I'm going to call this primary CTA, primary call to action. Or you can just say call to action. It's just we're going to have only one on the Navbar and no gap since there's nothing inside of it other than the text. And I'm going to give it 32 by 16 padding. The reason for this number selection is two reasons. The first reason is we always want your numbers to be a multiple of 6 or a multiple of 8. Uh, well, there are exceptions like smaller numbers like 14, like around 6, 4 in some cases. You might use 20 and other numbers, but most of the time you want to stick to multiples of 6 and 8. Uh, Following that, actually, what we're going to do is we're going to give it a background. Just click the fill, select the fill, and I'm going to give it our primary color. So we already have this color chosen out from the actual workout here from for the identity. We're going to be using that color since that is our primary color, and we're going to be given this white background to attain maximum contrast between the background and the text. Then we're going to go to the corner radius and give it 8 pixels. 8 pixels corner radius just to give the design more interesting visuals. And this is basically our CTA, but I want to do one more thing. Instead of giving it a solid fill, I would like to go to add a gradient to it. And from our primary color, we want to go into a lighter state here. It's very subtle. It's very subtle just at the end, but it will give our design more depth. And if you think your designs lack depth and if you think your designs lack interest, you can use these techniques to simply make them more interesting. That's it for the CTA. We can just cross that off. So I'm just going to give this text here a title, Navbar content, or we can just say Navbar. Let's not cross this out, or rather underline it and make it bigger. Okay, so we're going to be doing this for all our sections, just to give ourselves some identification of what we need. So I'm going to call this Navbar content. Now we have to lay them out properly. I'm just going to Shift A and group everything into our finally navbar. Then we're going to be stacking them horizontally. Then we're going to follow that by hot content and also positioning. Sorry, spacing. So now, okay, so let's this be hot content. So how long should it be? That's the question now. So we're going to go to columns and we're going to select 12 column grid. So you can select either 12 or 16. Since this is a landing page and not like something with lots of content like dashboards, we're gonna stick to 12 here. If you have much more content and if you need more space, you can select 16. So we're gonna center align this after dragging it to the sides, central line, and put it at the top. Then give it some space from the top around 16 pixels. Okay, great. So now we can remove our layout grid, or actually before we remove it, I'm gonna select our rulers and draw two lines just to signify where our grid is. Since we're going to be working with a two-column approach, we're going to be using this ruler a lot more. So I'm just going to give it 16 by 16 pixel padding, then a white fill followed by a stroke and an 8 pixel corner radius. Okay, so almost finished. Almost finished. This will just make our design that bit more interesting. But if you notice that this is actually 8 pixels, this can't be 8 pixels too. So this rule applies everywhere where your inner corner radius should be lower than your outer. So I'm just gonna reduce this just a bit to around 6 pixel corner radius. Okay, we can remove the ruler and see the results. Obviously, this is a good looking navbar, which is more interesting than most of the navbars out there. We just added this white background color to add separation from this uh, orange sort of background, and we added the stroke as our design will be dominated with these black strokes for visual separation and visual accents and interest points. That means this black stroke will be used as sort of an asset to make our design more interesting at parts. Uh, One thing remains, which is to go over and add these colors to our library. We're just gonna click here. This will be a darker gray. So I'm just gonna go gray around 3 or 200. I'm gonna go 300 from now. This will be a complete black, which will be black 100. That's the darkest you can go. I'm just gonna leave the linear gradients as they are. I'm just gonna add here white 900. Okay. So here we have today's progress so far. A navbar, a textured and colored background. In the next part, we're going to be creating a hero section to like finish off the essence of the website and get everything in place to add the next sections. Thanks for watching. I really hope you enjoyed and learned from this video. If you remember, if you want the design file actually, you can go over to the description down below and just click the link. I'm going to leave the link down in the description. Thanks for watching. Until next time, goodbye.